Hello everyone and welcome back. I am AutoMaster13 and today we're going to be taking a look at the team I've built to take on Adam or Adam Piano. But before we get into my team, let's go over his team. Adam's OU picks are Mega Altaria, Clefable and Guard Jump. Mega Altaria is obviously very versatile. It can be run bulky, it can be run offensive, especially offensive and physically offensive. You can have a bulky Dragon Dance variation. It has all kinds of options. It has pretty decent move pool as well. So I think we can handle it, but it could be kind of awkward to deal with. Same thing goes for Clefable, although Clefable I don't see as that big a threat. Yeah, as I said, we'll have to see how it goes. Clefable obviously has Calm Mind as a very solid set. It can also be run as for utility purposes with Wish, Passing and stuff like that. But Thunder Waves. But again, we'll have to see what Adam does with it. But I have one of the best responses to fairy types in my team, being Mega Metagross, so should be alright. Guard Jump again is just like Mega Altaria, very versatile. It can be run bulky, it can be run physically offensive, specially offensive with Draco Meteor and stuff like that. Yeah, it just does a lot. It can be, as I said, can be run defensive with like Rough Skin Rocky Helmet as physically defensive wall. Yeah, it's just really versatile. Its ice weakness does really cripple it though, and again we have probably one of the strongest ice Pokemon there is. Actually maybe that's a little bit overrated, but he is still really strong in Mamoswine. Anyway, recently Adam has made a switch. He swapped out his Gyarados and picked up Darmanitan, and Darmanitan is quite problematic for my team. It's probably there for Mega Metagross, because otherwise he really didn't have any response for Mega Metagross. It has to be Scarfed though, otherwise it still gets outspat. But yeah. So I definitely expect him to bring the Darmanitan, but it has to be a Scarf set, otherwise it just doesn't do what Adam wants it to do, being taken on Metagross. Next up is Heliolisk, Adam's fastest Pokemon. It has actually proven to be quite useful for Adam, as it picked up a couple of kills over the last few weeks. Heliolisk can be somewhat problematic to my team. I do obviously have Mamoswine who can take any hit from it, any electric hit from it, and hit it back really hard. But I don't really anticipate it on taking a lot of Hyper Voices. So we'll have to be kind of cautious for that, but yeah, as I said, I do think we can handle it. Next up is Empoleon. Empoleon usually is run kind of bulky. Probably, I don't actually know if it can be run both physically and specially defensive. I think it can be run both ways. Obviously it has Defog, and with its steel typing, it can be somewhat awkward to deal with. But yeah, should be alright. Next up is Hitmonlee, and Hitmonlee is probably one of the biggest threats to my team, as I don't really have a lot on my team right now that hits it super effectively, even though I have Starmie and Metagross. I am not running any Psychic coverage, as well Hitmonlee is the only thing that, in fact, is hit super effectively by Psychic type moves on Adam's team. Actually, Darmanitan is too, but I felt like other coverage moves were more crucial. Either way, it just hits hard with high jump kick. Can also be run with like fake out normal gem with Unburden, boosting its speed. I don't think Adam has run that once yet. Adam usually likes to run it Scarfed to boost its somewhat mediocre speed. It's definitely fast, but not fast enough to be a proper sweeper. So yeah, as I said, it usually has to be run Scarfed. But we'll have to see how it goes. If it is Scarfed, I do think we can handle it. But yeah, we'll have to see. Anyway, next up is Tangrowth. Adam has used Tangrowth a lot, as it is just a solid ball. And actually it could be kind of problematic to my team, as it gets decent coverage with obviously grass moves, but it gets Earthquake, it gets Knockoff, and those moves can definitely cripple my team. But I do think we are capable of dealing with the Tangrowth, as we can hit it back fairly significantly as well. Next up is Registeel. Obviously amazing bulk, it has the possibility to set up curses, and well, yeah, those curses can be somewhat difficult to deal with. Registeel can be setup fodder though, but we don't really have any setup in our team right now, so it won't be. Yeah, Registeel, curse Registeel set could be kind of awkward to deal with, but yeah, I do think we can handle it. Off to is NU picks. We have Lantern with its water absorb. It's a pretty decent check to Starmie, as it can hit it pretty significantly with any electric move as well. Actually, now that I think about it, I do think he's going to bring Lantern. Yeah, Lantern is just pretty bulky, it gets moves like Thunder Wave to spread paralysis, so we'll have to be kind of careful for that, but even if it does spread paralysis, it isn't that big a deal, as we do have a Cleric. Next up is Claydol. Obviously it's a rapid spinner, it can set up Stealth Rocks, it can set up screens, but I don't see it doing that much offensive. I don't think it's that big a threat, and I can definitely deal with it. And finally we have Murkrow. Murkrow, if it's run, it's usually offensive. It also has the possibility to utilize its prankster ability with moves like Thunder Wave and stuff like that. But Adam hasn't brought Murkrow once yet this season, and to be honest I don't think he will this match either. So that's it for Adam's team. Let's get right into my team. And my team has some interesting things, to say the least. And it starts off straight with Starmie. Starmie, I'm running a physically defensive Starmie in response to the Darmanitan, as Darmanitan is quite a problem to my team. Yeah, Starmie doesn't take a lot of damage from Scarf Darmanitan. The only thing it can hit it with is probably U-turn or maybe knockoff. I don't know if it gets knockoff, but that's about it. And Hydro Pump, even without any special attack investments, OHKOs the Darmanitan, so that's pretty nice. We also have Ice Beam to hit the Garchomp and the Mega Altaria. Maybe Tangrowth even, although I don't anticipate on staying in against Tangrowth. We have Rapid Spin to get rid of any entry hazards, because I just don't like having entry hazards on my field. My side of the field at least, I don't mind them being on their side. And obviously Recover, because Recover is nice. I had been considering to run Rocky Helmet, but because we do have the Recover for recovery, but I think Leftovers is fine as well. Yeah, it really doesn't matter that much. I might still change it, you'll see. If I do, I'll tell you in the battle. Yeah, you'll see. Next up is Professor X, Mega Metagross. It's a bit of an interesting set, to say the least. Well, actually it isn't that interesting. It has general coverage moves with Meteor Mash, Ice Sponge and Earthquake. The only thing, as I said, it can't hit super effectively is Hitmonlee, but I do not anticipate Hitmonlee taking many Meteor Mashes. Also we have Magnetize on there, as Garchomp is in particular Scarf Garchomp is a pretty decent response to Mega Metagross. And Magnetize pretty much neutralizes that. I guess it could run something like Crunch or something to hit it okay, let me try that again. To hit Mega Metagross super effectively anyway. But Earthquake is just stronger as it gets stab as well. But the Magnet Rise just completely neutralizes that, so that's pretty nice. Same thing goes for Mega Altaria. If it's physically offensive, Mega Altaria, Earthquake is a pretty common move. And Magnet Rise just neutralizes that and makes sure we can't really be hit by the Mega Altaria. Unless it does run Fire Blast or something like that, even though it's a physical set. And Meteor Mash just completely shits on it, like it just does. Anyway, next up is Manny the Mamoswine with Expert Belt. Mamoswine with Earthquake, Ice Shard, Ice Compression, Iron Head. Again, same type coverage as Mega Metagross has. It can only hit Hitmonlee, not super effective, but again, Hitmonlee isn't going to enjoy taking Earthquakes to the face. And yeah, well, because we have so much we can hit super effectively, Expert Belt is just a pretty good, solid item on Mamoswine. I have max speed on there to speed tie with the Mega Altaria, as well as outspeed stuff like Fable, Defensive Guard Chomp, Empoleon, Hitmonlee if it isn't max speed, like plus speed nature. Obviously the outspeed stuff like Tangrowth, Registeel, Lantern, Claydol. And it outspeeds Murkrow if it is the plus speed nature. But yeah. Same thing goes for Starmie, by the way. I have enough speed investment to outspeed max speed Mega Altaria. And for the rest it outspeeds the same things as Mamoswine. Next up is Miltank. Miltank is main defensive wall against something that isn't Darmanitan, as Darmanitan has access to superpower, and that still hurts a lot. I also have Sapsipper on there, because as I said, it isn't going to be a response to Darmanitan. And Adam likes bringing his Tangrowth, and if he does bring Tangrowth, it gets pretty much neutralized by Miltank. Miltank is there to set up Stealth Rocks. As I said, we have a Cleric, and well, that is Miltank with Heal Bell. So even if Adam does start spreading Thunder Waves with Clefable or Registeel or Lantern or Murkrow or even Heliolisk, although I don't expect that to be the case, we can deal with that. Heal Bell just neutralizes that. As I said, we have Stealth Rocks there because Stealth Rocks are nice to have. We have Thunder Wave. Yeah, Thunder Wave is nice to have. I like paralyzing things. It really cripples his offensive monster aside from Heliolisk, as it doesn't get paralyzed. And we have Seismic Toss there because it just hits harder than some other moves like Body Slam. Besides, we don't really have the need for Body Slam as we have Seismic Toss already. Thunder Wave, I mean. The speed investment I have is there to outspeed Empoleon, Clefable, and bulky Garchomp without any speed investment. And Darmanitan if it doesn't have any speed investment, although why wouldn't it? Obviously it outspeeds Tangrowth and Registeel, and Lantern if it isn't max speed, and Claydol if it isn't max speed. Yeah, and I have a little bit of speed investment to hopefully outspeed several things, but if it doesn't, it isn't that big a deal. Anyway, Miltank is just pretty much my main response to Tangrowth, as well as maybe like Garchomp, although I can't really hit Garchomp. Then yeah, it's just a utility Miltank. Next up is the second interesting mon, to say the least. We have a specially defensive Typhlosion. Typhlosion has same speed as Miltank, which outspeeds the same things, being Clefable, bulky Megaltaria, bulky Garchomp, bulky Darmanitan if that's a thing, Empoleon, bulky Hitmonlee, Tangrowth, Registeel, non-max speed Lantern, non-max speed Claydol, and bulky Murkrow, I guess. Anyway, we have Fire Blast and Hidden Power Ice to hit anything that isn't Darmanitan or Lantern. The rest gets hit super effectively or neutral. We have Resto Chesto, because that's the main reliable recovery there is. I mean, it isn't that reliable, but it works. We have Counter on there in case we face off against if we do face off against like Hitmonlee and we manage to take a hit, we can counter that hit and just surprise kill said Hitmonlee. And finally we have Taz, the Primeape. As this is my final match in the regular season, I did really want to bring Primeape. It doesn't really matter for me if I win or lose, and yeah, I thought it'd be fun to bring a bit of a interesting team, to say the least. Anyway, Primeape outspeeds pretty much anything. It speed ties with Darmanitan if it's also a Scarf. It outspeeds Scarf Hitmonlee. It doesn't outspeed Scarf Garchomp, which is a possibility as well. And yeah, it just hits hard with its 105 base attack. It hits Mega Altaria with Gunk Shot. It hits Clefable with Gunk Shot. It doesn't really hit Garchomp. It does hit Darmanitan with Earthquake. It hits Empoleon with Earthquake. It hits Heliolisk with Earthquake. Hitmonlee doesn't like taking too close combats. Tangrowth doesn't like taking Gunk Shots, or close combats for that matter. Registeel doesn't like taking close combats. Lantern doesn't like taking Earthquakes. Claydol doesn't like taking U-turns, although it probably won't kill, but U-turn is nice for momentum. And Murkrow is still not expected to be brought, but we can definitely hit it with a close combat. So that pretty much wraps up my team. I have Defiant there, by the way, on Primeape, in case he runs Defog on Empoleon. And I had been considering to run Vital Spirit against a possible Sleep Powder Tangrowth, but I do think the odds of me getting a Defiant boost are higher than the odds of me getting Vital Spirit, a useful use out of Vital Spirit. Obviously Adam has Rapid Spinners in Claydol and Hitmonlee, and Adam isn't dumb, so I definitely expect him to not run Defog on Empoleon. But yeah, if he does, it turns out nicely. And maybe, who knows, we'll be able to take a Moonblast from Clefable and get the special attack drop and then get the attack raise and hit him with a Gunk Shot and kill it. Who knows? It probably won't happen, but a man can dream. Anyway, that's it for this week's team breakdown. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!